Library, and welcome to Storytime Online. So this morning we're going to enjoy some books and some stories, and grown-ups, we want to make sure that you come and enjoy them with us. You know, you are your child's first teacher, so the more that you can sit and watch things with them, the more they'll get out of it. So today we're going to start off with our opening song. It's called The More We Get Together. But instead of just singing this song, we're going to sign this song as well. We're going to learn some American Sign Language signs. Maybe you already know some of these. Does anybody know the sign for more? The more we get together. More is like that, isn't it? Yeah, let's try that. Just like that. Good job. And how about together? Does anybody know the sign for together? For that one, you want to put your hands like this and spin them around like you're storing a big bowl in front of you. Together. Good job. And how about happy? Does anybody know the sign for happy? Yeah, happy goes like this. 1, 2, just like that. Good job. Happy. And a big smile on our face when we say it too. And one more. How about friends? How do you say friends in sign language? So you want to take your 2 pointer fingers and you're going to give each other a hug because they're friends. Isn't that nice? There we go. Friends like that. Good job. All right, let's give it a try. Can you do it along with me? All right, here we go. The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Good job, everybody. Good job. So let's do our first story today. It is a wonderful little book that's called We Forgot Brock. This book is by Carter Goodrich, and we want to thank the publisher, Simon & Schuster, for allowing us to share it with you today. So let's take a look. We forgot Brock. This is Philip and Brock. They're best friends. They spend all their time goofing around together. They do look like they're having fun, don't they? The weird thing is, nobody else can see Brock. Everyone calls him Philip's imaginary friend, whatever that means. At dinner, Philip might say something like, "Brock would like some more, please." But his mom only pretends to give Brock seconds. Or sometimes in the driveway, Philip yells, "Wait, Dad, Brock has to move his chopper." He has a pretty cool motorcycle, doesn't he? "Please ask Brock to hurry up," Philip's dad will say. Brock can also be really funny, but his parents never seem to get it. One evening, the whole family piled into the car and headed to the big fair. "Brock wants us to ride the Brain Shaker," said Philip. "Tell Brock the Brain Shaker is a big kid's ride," his dad said. That does sound a little scary, doesn't it? At the big fair, Philip and Brock rode the merry-go-round and the bumper cars and the tilt-a-whirl. I love the tilt-a-whirl. That's one of my favorites. Philip got some cotton candy, but Brock didn't want any. He only likes beans and spaghetti. Finally, after the Ferris wheel, Philip got sleepy. He had a very big day, didn't he? But Brock wasn't sleepy at all. It was time to ride the Brain Shaker. Philip woke up as soon as the car pulled into the driveway. "Where's Brock?" he yelled. Then he ran inside to see if maybe Brock was already home, but he wasn't. Uh-oh. "We forgot Brock," Philip sobbed. "We forgot Brock." Uh-oh, they left his friend at the fair. Back at the big fair, Brock couldn't find Philip. He went back on the Ferris wheel for a better view, but he couldn't see Philip anywhere. "Are you okay?" somebody asked from above. "Oh, I see a little girl up there." Brock said he was lost and he wanted to go home. "My name is Anne," the little girl said, "and this is Princess Sparkledust. Would you like to come home with us?" So Princess Sparkledust, Anne, and Brock all went home together. The next day, Princess Sparkledust and Anne found Brock sitting all by himself. He missed Philip very much. But they did magic tricks to cheer him up. Oh, that's nice. Then the three of them began to invent games and tell each other stories. They're having fun, aren't they? Meanwhile, Philip spent the whole day looking for Brock. He searched everywhere, but he couldn't find him. Just as Brock was beginning to have a lot of fun, he remembered how much he missed Philip. Oh, look, he even put up signs looking for him. And just as Philip was about to give up his search, Brock! Oh, thank goodness, he found him. Brock introduced Philip to his new friends, Anne and Princess Sparkledust. From then on, Philip, Brock, Anne, and Princess Sparkledust all became best friends. They spent all their time goofing around together. And everything was even better than before. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Great little story about somebody using their imagination, right? He was pretending, wasn't he? Pretending can be so much fun to do. In fact, that's what I want you to do today. Sometime today, I want you to play pretend. So you could pretend that you have a friend like Brock, or you could pretend you have a really cool job. Maybe you're a pilot, or a scientist, or a librarian. Maybe you're going to go on a big adventure. You can pretend anything you want. But pretending is so good for our brain. It helps us be more creative, and it helps us to solve problems. We have problems that we need to solve. Very good for us. So I also have a song that we can use our imagination with today, because it's a song about bubbles. So this song is really fun to do when you have bubbles, but you can also do it if you don't, because you can pretend you have bubbles, right? This song is called There Are Bubbles in the Air. So I'm going to pretend that there are bubbles all around me that I can pop. So we can pop these bubbles and sing. You ready? Sing with me. There are bubbles in the air, in the air. There are bubbles in the air, in the air. There are bubbles in the air. There are bubbles everywhere. There are bubbles in the air, in the air. Good job. Where else could there be bubbles? How about up high? Can there be some bubbles way up high? There are bubbles way up high, way up high. There are bubbles way up high, way up high. There are bubbles way up high. There are bubbles in the sky. There are bubbles way up high, way up high. Did you see how I changed the rhyme that time? Yeah, since there were bubbles way up high, there were bubbles in the sky. That's right, good job. Rhymes are words that have the same ending sound, don't they? So what if I had bubbles that were way down low? What could we rhyme with that? Let's think. Rhymes for low. Slow, go, no, toe. How about bubbles on my toe? Let's try that one. There are bubbles way down low, way down low. There are bubbles way down low, way down low. There are bubbles way down low. There are bubbles on my toe. There are bubbles way down low, way down low. Good job. I've got one more. How about if I pretend I have a friend, just like Brock? And there are bubbles on my friend, on my friend. There are bubbles on my friend, on my friend. There are bubbles on my friend. How I love to play pretend. There are bubbles on my friend, on my friend. Good job, everybody. That's a really fun song that you can sing whenever you've got some bubbles, or even if you just imagine some. All right, guys, let's do another story. I have one right here about a little girl named Sophia. Sophia has a little bit of a problem to solve. We were just talking about solving problems and using our imagination to help our brains work better. So let's see what happens in One Word from Sophia by Jim Averbeck and Yasmin Ismail. Now, this one is also published by Simon & Schuster in their imprint that's called Antoneum Books. So thank you again to them for letting us share it. One Word from Sophia. Sophia's birthday was coming up, and she had 5 things on her mind: 1 true desire and 4 problems. Her one true desire was to get a pet giraffe for her birthday. Can you imagine having a pet giraffe? That would be very interesting, wouldn't it? Her four problems were mother, who was a judge, father, who was a businessman, Uncle Conrad, who was a politician, and Grandmama, who was very strict. Sophia presented her case to Mother. I would like a giraffe, she said, because they burn less gasoline, so they meet federal regulations better than the cars we use now. In the last 50 years, no giraffes have been recalled for defective parts, and newer models have a particularly strong safety record. Also, giraffes have not been shown to be the cause of any major diseases. Giraffes are legal in all 50 states. And a giraffe could take me to ballet class and deliver me right to the second floor. Well, that's a very well thought out argument, isn't it? Her argument was accompanied by a compelling slideshow that included a map on the walk to class. I'm sorry, said her mother in her decision, but I will have to rule against a giraffe at this time. You provided no proof that you are ready for pet ownership and failed to cite any laws about minors driving quadrupeds. And your argument was too verbose. Verbose? Asked Sophia. What's that mean? Too many words, said Mother. How many should I use? Fewer, said Mother, and she retired to her chambers. So Sophia used fewer words with Father. Giraffes, said Sophia, are a good source of manure, which can be sold at a profit to garden centers and activists. In short, people will pay me for poop. Her proposal was accompanied by a compelling graph showing how much money she would make. I'm sorry, said her father, but your business plan is unsound. You fail to count the cost of care and feeding for your manure producer, not to mention the warehousing of poop. And your presentation was far too effusive. Effusive, asked Sophia. What's that mean? Too many words, said Father. How many should I use? Fewer, said Father, and he got back to his conference call. Sophia polled the other members of her household, all of her little stuffy friends, and presented the results to Uncle Conrad. 4 out of 5 respondents are in favor of giraffes, she said. The results were accompanied by a compelling pie chart. That's that right there. I'm sorry, said Uncle Conrad, but your results indicate that being in favor of giraffe ownership would cost me the support from the Pony American community. And besides, your report was far too loquacious. Sophia didn't even need to ask. Finally, she approached Grandmama. She accompanied her plea with a compelling foot rub. That might help. Giraffe, no, said Grandmama. And do try to get to the point next time. In a last desperate attempt before her birthday, Sophia prepared to speak to everyone at once. She revised and shortened her proposition until it was just one word. What word do you think that she might use? If you wanted something, what would you say? Oh, please. Do you think that will work? Let's see. The proposal was accompanied by a particularly compelling pair of eyes. On her birthday, Sophia was delighted to find that short and sweet often brings results. One word really works, she said. She got her giraffe, didn't she? And 2 words came in handy as well. What do you think those words are? Thank you. The end. And look, at the end, it has this glossary of all of those wonderful new words that we learned in this book. There were some really big words in there, weren't there? But you know what, grown-ups? The more you use those big words with your kids, the more they will learn. You will be amazed and delighted, mystified by the number of words that they'll be able to learn. So use new words every day. All right, guys, it's just about time up for story time. Be sure to stay tuned in to all of Calvert Library's social media feeds for more story times and more programs for the whole family. We want to do one more song before we go. Our closing song is called Goodbye Friends. Let's do some more signs again, too. Do you remember the sign for friends? Remember where our fingers are giving each other a hug and our friends? That's right. So goodbye friends, right? Let's give that a try. Here we go. Goodbye friends. Goodbye friends. Goodbye friends. It's time to say goodbye. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.